Hi guys! Well, I've already covered the ins and outs of AP World History. On today's episode of 5 Hacks for a 5, I'm going to be going over the ins and outs of AP US History, otherwise known as the infamous APUSH. And today, we're going to be helping push you towards a 5. Pun definitely intended. Before we get into it, I just wanted to take a moment to remind you guys that this video is part of my 5 Hacks for 5 series, where every day this week, I'm uploading a video on a different AP exam to help you guys get ready for AP season, which is almost upon us. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be just fine. You guys are watching this video, you're here, you're gonna do okay. Just don't forget to subscribe and follow me so you're notified every day of AP week, because who knows? Tomorrow's video could apply to you too, and the day after, and the day after, and... Okay, actually, I'm not even sure there are that many days left in AP week, but you get the point. So with a really comprehensive facts-based exam like APUSH, where you're expected to remember pretty much the entire history of the United States of America, it's really helpful to know what you should be focusing on when you're studying. Alternatively, that means that you should be aware of what not to focus on. According to the official College Board description of the exam, 45% of the exam is going to focus on the time period from 1607 to 1877, and then another 45% focuses on from then up until 1980. And only 10% in total is devoted to the time before 1607 or after 1980. So, unfortunately for those of you who are really interested in ancient or contemporary history, you do not want to be spending a whole bunch of time on those topics. However, I would definitely still at least brush up on them. I've heard of at least one case where an extended question on the exam dealt with one of those two time periods. While my last hack was about diversifying your knowledge and knowing what to study, which I realize was kinda a lot, this hack is basically the exact opposite. Like, definitely still listen to the first hack as well because it's kinda important, but at the same time, this hack is one that I personally found incredibly helpful while I was studying for the exam, so I wanted to share it with all of you. So back when I was studying for APUSH, way back in my junior year of high school, my teacher really encouraged us to study just one time period really in depth by giving us a final exam where we knew beforehand that the structure was going to be the multiple choice, which was just like normal, regular stuff, and then we were going to have a bunch of different essay prompts to choose from, spanning pretty much the entire timeline of the course, and we only had to pick one. So that really rewarded studying just one or two time periods strategically and as deeply as possible. The actual AP exam does something similar as well in that it's split into multiple choice, short answers, and 2 longer essays, and you have some choice in some of the sections about what you want to answer. They'll give you a few different options and you can pick just a few to answer, and from there that also really rewards having that really deep field of knowledge about just 1 or 2 time periods, in addition, of course, to your general knowledge of all the other time periods as well. Okay, so far these first 2 hacks have been applicable to pretty much any section of the exam, and now for the last 3 hacks we're going to be getting into one specific section for each of them, starting with multiple choice. So the nice thing about the APUSH multiple choice section is, at the very least, it's based off of a bunch of different sources and comprehending and answering them by picking the correct response. So they might give you your first 3 questions based off of a long or short quote or passage, and then you might have a historical image to analyze for the next 3 questions, and then maybe a graph or a chart for the next few, and so on and so forth. Some of the questions will be entirely answerable just from the sources, while others will require some outside knowledge to answer, or they might relate to or be affected by things that happen outside of the source and all that jazz. So what you need to do is know the hallmarks of each time period to be able to contextualize the questions. Look at the date each source is from, then look at the creator of the source to see if you can get any outside knowledge about the context, about the time period, about who created it, about why it was created, and then see if you can synthesize it with what you know about that time period. So say you have a source from 1776. you should automatically be thinking American Revolution, Stamp Act, Sugar Act, Declaration of Independence, Patriots versus Loyalists, all that good stuff. And what that does is it gets your brain primed and ready to answer whatever they might throw your way. So for the short answers, each one is based off a source, like a quotation, kind of like for the multiple choice. However, in this case, instead of bubbling your answers into a Scantron sheet, you're going to be physically writing them out yourself. And a lot of students fall into is writing out their answers using exactly the same wording and terminology that they saw in the source itself. So let's say you have a short answer that's asking you to compare and contrast the thought processes of two different historical figures. Maybe it gives you two sources, two quotations by each of them, and asks you to discuss those processes. Now, what you don't want to do is write your answer using exactly what each figure was saying in their own quote. Even if you have to become a human thesaurus for a few minutes, don't copy. Write your answers in your own words. So this hack is relevant for the two long essay prompts the APUSH exam will throw your way. The document-based question, or DBQ, and the long essay. APUSH actually uses the exact same essay rubric as the AP World History exam, and I have a lot more hacks for that rubric in my video on the topic, so I'll link that down below in the description box and up here in the corner, and you guys should definitely go check it out if you're planning on taking either exam anytime soon. However, I really want to hammer home in this hack that the exams want to see analysis, and they're testing multiple skills, like contextualization, comparison and contrast, and continuity and change over time. And to do that, you want to make sure that the structure of your essay allows you to make that happen really easily. So you want a thesis that makes an argument rather than just restating the topic, the body paragraphs, and your conclusion. Here, no matter what you may have learned in your high school English class, you don't want to just restate your introduction in your conclusion. Instead, you want to synthesize it with a broader historical theme. Try relating it to a different geographical location or period of time. Or if you're at a loss, at least just talk about what impact the events would have on the US for years to come. So those are my hacks for how you can ace the APUSH exam. You guys can always feel free to get in touch with me both before and after exam day, and I will be back with yet another 5 hacks video tomorrow. Best of luck everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Hey guys, while I've already covered the ins and outs of AP World History oh my god. According to the official College Board, there's a plane. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's so freaking loud though. So back when I was studying AP, if it can be to compare and contrast the thought processes of two, you want to synthesize it with the